There was never a doubt in anybody's mind, was there? Be honest. Not even close. I mean, Bobby always says he's with me if we win or draw. He doesn't say the losing part, so I had to make sure I hold my end of the bargain. No, listen, just a great performance. Look, our guys are showing so much resilience, so much poise, just belief in what we're trying to accomplish. Abilene Christian's a good football team. They came in, I believe, picked third in the conference, right behind us by like 1 or 2 votes. So they're obviously well respected. Coach Durrell is one of the top coaches in the country. Does a great job with those guys. And to win a game in that fashion for the 3rd week in a row, Pete asked me this before we came up here. I said I don't know that I've been a part of 3 games like that in my coaching career, and much less to start out a season with 3 games like that. So I'll never apologize for being 3-0, 1-0 in the conference, but there's obviously a lot we've got to clean up and get better at. It's not going to get any easier. We're looking at a tough test, obviously, this week, and then have to go on the road right after that, after a bye week to Nichols. So it's not going to get any easier, and that's the fun part about this, is that it's not. And so we're going to be forced to improve. We're going to be forced to make adjustments, and we'll be forced to continue to win tough ball games, and that's what it's about. And so what I thought was important on Saturday was guys stepping up and making plays. Steve mentioned it. Carlos Blackman had 12 catches. Who would ever thought a running back would have 12 catches in a game? I thought Braylon did a great job, reading the defense, taking his check downs. We talk about that all the time, and he executed that. Bishawn McCray, 2-point conversion, might have been the biggest play of the game to change some momentum on the reverse. He's an athletic type kid for us. Plays quarterback, could possibly play wide receiver for us. Do some different things, and he makes a play and runs to the pylon. Hayden Ray, 3 for 3. Who would have thought that it would come down to what he did early in the ball game to win the game? And then I thought our defense made some timely snaps. Again, you just never know what numbers are going to step up. I use the example of this, like Juan Jackson gets kicked out of the game. Everybody remember that? Like they buzzed down. That's a new rule now. No flag was thrown. Well, they buzzed down to the ref. They said we need to take a look at it. This new targeting rules. So they took a look at it, and they decided it was enough to eject him from the ball game. The very next play, Cameron Godfrey, his backup, who's a redshirt freshman, comes in, plays boundary safety. They do that little muddle huddle, you guys that were at the game. They sprint to the line. They've got an unbalanced formation. That's not something that's easy for a freshman to recognize. He comes right off the edge like he was coached to do. First snap of the game he took, he goes down and gets a 4-yard tackle for loss. That's an example of being ready when your name's called. When you have examples like that, of guys when their number's called. He had no expectation of playing. He's playing behind really an All-American type player in Juan Jackson. So you're not going to get a lot of playing time, but Juan Jackson gets ejected from the football game, and he has an opportunity to go in and he makes the most of his plays. So that's what this team's about right now. It's what this team's about, and it's exciting to watch as coaches us be able to perform like that. Early in the ball game, they took away a lot of our deep stuff. They were playing 2 high safeties, which I know we're going to continue to see a little bit of with the ability that our receivers can play with the ability Braylon has throwing the football. So we were able to hit a lot of our slot receivers. Dwight Blakey, Michael Fox had a couple big catches. Mitch Perkinson, obviously the tailbacks had catches, and that's probably going to be a theme as we continue to push this thing forward with the ability of our outside receivers. And then we make timely stops. I think the most frustrating thing for our defense is not getting the turnovers and the sacks they want right now. We've been putting them in positions to make plays. I think that we're this close to really turning a couple ball games really around if we just catch the ball on defense, in some different situations. But Coach Williams has done a great job executing his game plan week in and week out, and making the proper adjustments to give us a chance to win. Before I wrap up this game, I do want to mention something about Reeve Wood. His father, he came to me last Sunday evening, and here's the deal. This is what makes coaching bigger than just football, and it really is. People say that a lot of times, but it really is. You've got a team of 120 guys on your team, and these coaches can attest to that with their men and women on their team as well. Crap happens in their life. Stuff happens, and you a lot of times you put a student athlete, on a pedestal or wherever, and you think that they don't go through stuff and they should just be, reacting exactly like you want them to react every single day, but they go through stuff too, just like each and every one of us do. Reeves' mama called him last Sunday and said basically, you know, his dad's been fighting brain cancer, that he was on his last breath. I mean, really, he was down to his last couple days, probably living. Reeves' dad was, you know, he's a part of a coaching family. Reeves very close to him. Just got to know him and his family, you know, through the recruiting process over the last couple of years, recruiting Reeves and getting him here. You know, and you know, Reeves missed all last week practice-wise. So his dad passed away on Thursday evening, and I get a text from Reeves. Obviously, I was staying in touch with him all through the week. I get a text from him Thursday night, and he said, "Hey, Coach, I want to let you know that I'll be there for walkthrough on Friday. That's what my dad would want." And so that just shows, you know, that it's bigger than football. And he came here and he leaned on his teammates and his coaches to get him through a hard time, because it wasn't easy on him. Still not going to be easy on him as he goes through the next few weeks. Y'all just keep him in your thoughts and prayers, his family. It's a tough time for guys like that. But just an amazing story. He came out and he executed, you know, everything we asked him to do on Saturday to a T, and that's what's exciting. Moving forward, though, we're obviously going to Hawaii. It's going to be fun. I walk into the office. Now, this is funny. I walk into the office, and on Sunday, you know, I'm happy but pissed off at the same time, if that's possible. You know, we're going to go in and get corrections and all that. Well, you can't be pissed off too long when the first person you see sitting in there is Brooks Harnsworth with his Hawaiian shirt on. So he was fired up. So I walk in, and he's sitting there watching film. Of course, if you know Brooks, I mean, nobody watches film like he does. He's sitting there. He's got the clicker. He's probably half asleep, and he's got his Hawaiian shirt on, and he's ready to roll. I said, you ready to go? My bags are packed. You know, he's ready. You know. So, but here's the deal. So it's going to be a fun week. And look, it's something Dr. Teague talks about all the time, and I've mentioned this over the last couple of weeks. People have talked about Hawaii. Look, we've had 3 games before this, and yeah, it's on the schedule, and we talked to recruits about getting a chance to go to an opportunity to go to Hawaii and all that stuff. But you know, at the end of the day, it's about these student athletes and their overall experience here. You know, they obviously they're students, and we want them to graduate and do what they do right in the classroom, get a degree, have success on the field. But one of a big piece of what Dr. Teague runs this athletic program on is student athlete experience. And if this doesn't encompass that in itself, I don't know what does. So it's an opportunity that a lot of our guys probably will never have again. You know, maybe never would have had this opportunity. A lot of these guys will be their first plane ride, because I've got about 8 or 9 true freshmen and about 4 or 5 redshirt freshmen making their first, you know, another road trip, and you know, some of them have never even taken a plane ride. So this is an unbelievable experience for those guys. You know, what's meeting us on the other side is a really good football team. Just watching them through, a day and a half. Basically, they're 2-1 against the Pac-12 right now. They beat the University of Arizona week 1, pretty good, and then they beat Oregon State week 2, and then they played a top 15 program in Washington on Saturday and got beat by, I think, 3 scores, but played really tough with them. So I don't know how they've got the Pac-12 schedule, but they played 3 Pac-12 teams, and they're 2-1 right now. Personnel-wise, they'll be one of the best teams we've seen in a couple years. I mean, they really will. They've got their quarterback can really throw the football. You know, you think back to the June Jones days. Some of you old football fans, that's what they're doing right now. I mean, they're air raiding it out, throwing the ball deep. They've got a couple of really good receivers. Number 6 and number 9 will be as good as slot receivers that we'll see all year. Quarterback puts the ball in jeopardy a little bit. He's got 9 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. But that being said, I think they tell him to take chances, because he's got a big arm and they trust him and do all those things. Defensively, they're going to be big. They're going to be strong. They don't have a ton of team speed on defense, but they'll out-physical you for sure. And that's what we've got to get our minds prepared for. So it's going to be a tough task, but it's one that we're excited and we're ready to go embrace. Look, we don't go into any game, and the history shows since we've made the Division I jump, we don't go into any game. I mean, you talk about Oklahoma State, Ole Miss, Texas Tech. You know, we're going to go try to win the game. You know, and that's what the goal of this trip's about. You know, what the score is going to be, I don't know. This is a good team, but I promise you this: we're going to go put our boxing gloves on and go to the ring and see what we can do. And it's going to be exciting for our players. I watched them practice last night. We were back on the field for about an hour and 10 minutes last night, and they're ready to go. They're ready to go, and I'm excited to watch them go out and perform make adjustments, and see where we can get. Look, if you'd have told me before the season you could be 3-0 with the schedule we had to start the year out, going into Hawaii, I'd have taken it every day of the week, just like every one of you would. And I'm excited about going to Hawaii. And then once we go to Hawaii, let's go beat those guys, and then we'll have a chance to get a little break and have a bye week, get ready for the conference run. And so it's an exciting time. Our guys are playing their tails off. I'm excited the way things have gone so far. Obviously got some adjustments to make, but I think we're headed in the right direction for sure. We've got a good team, a good group of guys, and good coaches. So.